The Force will be with you, always.
Hey everyone, I'm the black-haired Richard Korra Kenobi here, and I'm back again for another DC animated film review, and today we're going to be reviewing Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, the newest DC animated film to come out, and the 10th one to be set in the DC New 52 animated continuity. So, with all of that being said, let's get into this. Now, before I start, please keep in mind this is a non-spoiler review, so if you want to go and watch this film, you can go purchase it digitally, as it came out 2 days ago, or you can go pre-order your copy physically and wait for it to get to you sometime in April. So with all this being said, let's go into it. So yes, I was very interested when I saw the trailer for this and seeing how they would portray the squad in this continuity, and so far it lived up to some of my expectations, as I have read the Suicide Squad comics, and all I can say is that if you did not like the Suicide Squad live action movie, then I would recommend you go check out Assault on Arkham and finally this, as they are both very good. Now let's go ahead and get into a little plot synopsis. So we see the squad once again back under the command of Amanda Waller, who needs them to go hunt down a mystical item as she needs it for her own deeds. And of course, on the way, they are encountered by two different villain teams. One led by, of course, Vandal Savage, as you saw in the trailer, and the other one led by a mysterious person who you may recognize, and he even has connections to a previous DC animated film, but I won't say who because I want to keep the mystery going. So yeah, with all of that, let's just talk about this film. Now, the film was interesting. I can say that off the bat. Now that this is a rated R Suicide Squad film, it finally was able to do something that the PG-13 Assault on Arkham version alluded to, and I'm very happy that this film was able to have a good execution on how it delivered everything. Now, let's go ahead and address some of the things. So, of course, this film is directed by the returning Sam Liu, and it is written by Alan Burnett. And, fun fact, Alan Burnett, this was his last DC animated project that he worked on before he retired. So, after this, he will not be working on the DC animated films again. So, he really went out with a bang in this one, and I'll get to that later on, but I just thought I should mention that. So, yes, first of all, I know you guys are wondering, is this good? Yes and no. Yes, in the term, it does everything you wanted it to do, and no, because there are some things that hinder it, much like any other DC New 52 animated film. But again, I'll get to those when I get to them. Now, let's just get on with the goods. First of all, I love that this film was rated R. Now, there are some, I should bear warning, I'm sure you'll see it on screen, but there are some strong languages in this film. There are actual nudity scenes, close, and there are male strippers. So, yeah, this film is way rated R. It's trying to keep that rated R rating, so there you go. And, yeah, so going into that, I actually liked how this film portrayed its rated R, and did it deserve it? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there were some things that they could have done without to try and be edgy, but other than that, it was decent. Let's talk about the voice acting, because that's where I want to bring up some things that my friend J3 mentioned in his review. Now, he mentioned that the voice acting was mediocre or, you know, not good at best, and I agree with that statement. Because the only standout here is Christian Slater. Christian Slater as Deadshot was very good. If you did not like how Deadshot was portrayed as just Will Smith being Will Smith, then you'll actually like this film, because he is very good, and you can actually sympathize, and he is, once again, like he was in Assault on Arkham, he is the more interesting one here, and you really do get a good sense on how far this character has come, and what he's willing to do for his daughter, who he has not seen, and you really can see the frustrations in doing this. So I really thought that Christian delivered his lines excellent, and he was the only one who stood out in this area. Now, the rest were just serviceable at best, and I don't mean to make that sound bad. I'm sure they did as much they could with what they were given, but for this type of story, they really needed to convey more and really bring their A game. Now, of course, returning for this, you, of course, have Tara Strong as Harley Quinn. Now, you guys know my problems I have with Tara Strong as Harley Quinn. Even though she was toned down in this film, and Harley Quinn was actually used to a minimum, once again, like my friend J3 said, she's completely useless in this film and in the squad, because she doesn't really bring that much to the team. But she's here because her fans, so yeah, that's about it. But the rest of the cast do a decent job. Of course, Bobby Brown is Bronze Tiger. He was pretty interesting, but I really wish he would have gotten more, and he was able to get more shine, if that makes any sense. But he was still good. The rest of the cast are just there. Like, that's the problem. Like, none of them really do a great job at what they're given to give you something that'll make you stick with them and say, I care about these characters. Because that's the thing. You know that these characters are expendable, but there is something... They do try and add some development, but unfortunately, it's not as much as you would like it to be. The animation. Excuse me, take two. The animation. Now, the animation, being a New 52 continuity film, it's okay. I mean, really, you can tell that it still has some of the same problems that the other DC New 52 animated films had. And you really see that they just came up with these designs either on the spot, or they just decided, let's just see what we can come up with. But the animation actually does have a decent pace to it. When there is action, it does flow well. It has a nice energy to it. But when there's no action involved and they're trying to just have emotional moments or convey something, the animation really does struggle to try and capture what the performers are putting into it. And that's really, really a problem. But it's something that, unfortunately, doesn't bring it too down. So don't worry there. The music was just decent, as I said. There's really no standout track. And it's just wallpaper background noise. So... yeah, there's that. And overall, what really makes this film good, in my opinion, is the story. Now, as I said, this was the last project Alan Burnett did for DC, and he really did a great job with this story. And I feel like, in my opinion, this is actually the best story for the New 52 animated films. He really did a great job of making you care about these characters, and he really wanted to go out and do something that the other New 52 films hadn't done. Actually have shocking, gory moments and have legitimate twists to them. So that's crazy. There are twists that happen here that I won't even spoil. And once again, he does a great job of connecting this film to another DC animated film. So big props to the story. It is one of the best things about this movie, and if it wasn't for the lackluster animation and somewhat voice acting, then this film would just be, unfortunately, just like all of the other past DC animated New 52 films. But thankfully, the story is what saves this film, and Alan Burnett must be commended, and it is a shame that he is retired, but he gave us some great films and some great contributions to the DC animated universe, and for that, I thank him. And I really hope you guys can go down and support him. So, yes, the last good thing I'll say about this film is that, once again, it is gory as hell. If you are over the age of 18, then yeah, this is going to be something you didn't think you see in a DC animated film. And I like it. It really is a great adaptation of the comics, because if you go and read the comics, they're actually pretty gory, and they're much like a Quentin Tarantino style. And speaking of that, one of the other great things I love about this film is the way it's presented. It does actually start off with a Quentin Tarantino opening, and it really feels like Quentin Tarantino's got his hands all over this. But that's crazy because he had nothing to do with this. So this is pretty much what would happen if Quentin Tarantino were to direct the Suicide Squad. And I have to give, once again, Alan Burnett that, and I have to give some of the animation department for that. And once again, I have to give the animation department props for that. So, great job, guys. But yeah, that's about all the good things I can say about this film. There weren't that many great things that I would say, but there is one last thing I'll give it in its favor. Unlike the other DC animated New 52 films, you only watch them once and then they just become forgettable in your mind. This one, on the other hand, it is very highly rewatchable. I'm going to watch this tons more times. I think the more I watch it, the more it will grow on me, and the more my score for it will eventually improve. So yeah, that was pretty good. Now let's talk about the bad things. Now, as I said, the bad things are, well, some of the things I mentioned, but let's just quickly go over them again. The animation felt rushed, and it really should have had more polish to it, unlike Gotham by Gaslight, which, even though it looked off sometimes, it still looked like it had time put into it. Same with the other film, and same with the upcoming Batman Ninja film. But that's the thing. They have to put out 3 films a year, and each of these films will have to show it one way or another. And this one kind of shows it, but I don't think it's going to show it as much as the Superman Doomsday, or sorry, the Death of Superman. My apologies. So, yes, the voice acting was serviceable at best, and once again, the only highlights are Christian Slater and Bobby Brown, because they really do a good job of what they're given, but it's really Christian Slater who powers through the performance, and I really wish that the other actors could have gotten that same level of treatment. It really feels like Deadshot, once again, like the live-action film, this is his movie. Now, the actress who plays Amanda Waller, whose name I will put here because I was too lazy to remember it, she does a decent job of trying to represent and trying to do a good impression of the original voice actress, but that's one of the problems I have, is that she's trying to be like the original Amanda Waller instead of really giving us her own version. So I really wish she would have had more time in the script to really show us her take on Amanda Waller, but that's just a nitpick, and I mean these actors, no offense, I know they gave a great performance in their own hearts, but it really needed to be turned up to 11. And once again, Harley Quinn is a downfall in this film for me. She's just there. Thankfully, she doesn't dominate and take us hostage in this film like she's always done. But still, the fact that she's just there to say stuff, it really shows that they didn't even know if they could keep Harley on a leash here. And Tara Strong's voice acting really shows that. So, yes. But that's pretty much it for my complaints here. So overall, if I had to go over and sum up this film, how would I do that? Well, Suicide Squad Hell to Pay was not what I was expecting. I was expecting this film to just be like the other DC New 52 animated films, but thankfully it gave me some shocking twists and turns. The gore factor was turned up majorly high, and we actually got to see a great story that I think is going to be one of the best highlights of the New 52 animated universe when it comes to their films. And in the end, I really liked on how everything connected and how it wrapped up. So unlike Gotham by Gaslight, this film actually has a damn good ending, and I would highly recommend you go check it out and just to see what your takeaway from it is. So, yes. So, with that being said, with decent animation, serviceable voice acting, and just overall something that could have been better but wasn't terrible, I would say that Suicide Squad Hell to Pay is a damn good time. You definitely should go check it out, and my score for it would be a solid 7.5 out of 10. It's above average, and it really comes close to being a great film, but the flaws hold it back, and I feel like they needed to go all out for this film, as Alan Burnett did, because if it wasn't for Alan Burnett's great story, this would be a 6 out of 10 easily. But no, it does get an above average rating, and I would highly recommend you go check it out to give your own thoughts and opinions on it. So yes, guys, that was my review. As I said, another great decent DC animated film this year. Still my favorite one so far. But just overall, if you want to see a second opinion, I would highly recommend you go check out my friend J3, as he gave his own review, and his review is actually more thorough and it's more honest. So please guys, go support J3. It will really mean a lot to me. So yes, everyone, that was my review. If you enjoyed it, then please hit that like button. If you're new to my channel, then please hit that subscribe button. And if you want to stay up to date with all of my videos, then please hit that little bell icon to be notified of all my videos when they drop. And once again, all of the links I mentioned will be in the link below and after the credits. So yes, everyone, thank you so much for watching these. It really means a lot to me, and I hope you enjoyed them. And let me know what you thought. I really want to hear you guys' discussion down below. Did you enjoy Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay? Did you not like it? What are your opinions on it? Let's get a discussion going about it. I really love to hear your guys' thoughts. So yeah, guys, until then, this is Richard Korra Kenobi saying, may the Force be with you all, and until then, I'll see you all for the next one. Bye, everybody!